Hello everyone. In this video, I will discuss how to use Reshade, a post-processing tool to make your games have a different look. You can use it to make old games look better. You can apply special effects such as night vision, or even chroma key as subject in your game for use in another video. I would, however, not recommend using it in games that already look good or optimized. Do not also use it in games that have anti-cheat systems enabled, such as online multiplayer games, as you may get banned or for the sole purpose of cheating. Disclaimer: I am not responsible for any damages done if you use Reshade wrongly, so please use it properly. For the purposes of this video, I will only discuss how to set up Reshade to get it running. Shader tweaking and experimentation guides can be found elsewhere. Step 1. Download the Reshade program first. You can download the latest version from the official website, or download an older version of Reshade. If you are playing modern games, I recommend downloading the latest version. If you plan to use Reshade on older games, I strongly recommend downloading the older version of Reshade because the shader presets for it only work on the version of the Reshade program it was made on. The download links are in the description. This is the Reshade repository where you can download older versions of Reshade if you plan to play on older games such as those before the year 2021. Usually, a shader preset will not say what version of Reshade it was made, so you will have to do trial and error to figure out which version of Reshade will work for it. In general, what I would do is stick between Reshade versions 3 to 5, and then download the last revision in those versions. For example, if I choose Reshade version 4, I would download version 4.9.1 and try it. If the shader preset did not work, I would then try an earlier version of Reshade. Step 2. Run the Reshade program. Select the game's executable in the game directory, and then choose which API does the game run on. Usually the program will automatically detect it and all you need to do is to click on it, but it can get it wrong at times. You can Google search what API does your game run on. API choices can either be Microsoft DirectX, OpenGL, and Vulkan. The setup will then ask you which shader effects you would like to install. Shader effects end with the FX extension. Usually I would just install everything and click on Continue. No harm done if you install a shader that you don't want because you can deselect the shader that you don't want to use in the in-game Reshade menu. Once done, make sure the program feedbacks succeeded. To confirm that the setup is successful, then we proceed to the next step. If your shader cannot download the shader effect files, make sure your firewall is not blocking it. Now I would like to show you the modern setup of Reshade. The process is essentially the same as the old setup. The difference is though that the modern setup now offers Vulkan as an option when selecting API and that you can run the program to uninstall Reshade, which I will later discuss in the video. Modern Reshade versions tend to offer more shaders than older versions as you can see, but not all shaders from the previous versions of Reshade are made available in the modern version, which I've noticed. One example is the night vision shader. It is only available at around version 4 but isn't available in the latest version of Reshade. As usual, check first if the setup is successful, then we proceed to the next step. Step 3. We then download a shader preset. Click on the Presets tab to get to the Suite FXDB page. The Suite FXDB is one of the oldest repositories for shader presets, which can be handy for older games. We are specifically looking for Reshade presets to use. In this example, I plan to use Reshade on Call of Duty Ghosts. Again, not all shader presets mention what version of Reshade to use. Luckily for this example, it did, so I don't need to do trial and error. All I need is to download and install this specific version of Reshade for it to work, which in this case is version 4.9.1. Presets end with a .ini file extension. If you download a .text file, you need to convert it to .ini by saving the text file. Click on Save As. And then add the .ini extension at the end of the file name. Place the file into your game directory, i.e. in the same folder as the game executable. Step 4. Launch the game. The Reshade program should also then run on top of your game. Press the Home key to access the Reshade menu. If at this point the Reshade program did not launch, then it means your Reshade program did not work with the game. You may want to try running another version of Reshade. The program will then brief you with the tutorial. Read through it to get acquainted with the program. After which, we then select what shader preset to use by clicking on this blue bar on the top. Note: if you're using the modern version of Reshade, it will by default select the default .ini, which is a shader preset in itself. You then select which shaders you want to apply and adjust their values based on how you want the game to look. If your game crashes when you use a shader, it most likely means that the shader preset that you are using is not compatible with your version of Reshade. Hence we will need to uninstall and reinstall Reshade, which will be discussed in the next step. To manually uninstall Reshade, delete the Reshade presets folder, dxgi.dll and dxgi.log files. You can also use the Reshade installer itself to uninstall Reshade. Simply run through the setup again and the program should then prompt you to either modify or uninstall. This concludes the Reshade tutorial. If this has helped you, consider liking and subscribing. Happy modding!